In today's episode, we're sculpting this, which means we're carving this into this. We'll show you how we do it, work some mad detailing magic, recap our sculpture, and dazzle you with breathtaking cinematics. Looking for top 5 entertainment in just 40 minutes? Then park it right here and stick around. Hey, good morning, good day, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, City Sculptor, and you have made your way back to Pengasas Bay. Hey, thanks for joining us today. We are looking in on the Blacksmith's Rise part of town. And Blacksmith's Rise got its name because of all of the massive mineral deposits that are in this area. You guys may remember back in episode 4 when we were rerunning our rail line and our freeway that we wanted to make sure that we stayed out of that ore and mineral-rich deposit area. And in fact, we even put a couple of little keep out signs here, this little road here and this little road here, just to remind us that there were lots of rich mineral deposits in this space. So we're going to take advantage of those today. We're going to be building out a couple of ore mines and also a couple of coal mines in this space. The coal mines will probably come down into this little area here with these little ridge lines here. And then our ore industry is going to be back up here, at the base or around this big, huge hill structure up in here. I'm really kind of excited to see what we've got there. And we'll have to check out the natural resources view just to see where everything is exactly. But the intent here is to build out a great big mining facility and maybe some other industrial pieces as well along the way, just to kind of give it that industrial vibe. Now, one of our viewers had asked us about pollution. How come I don't seem to have any pollution warnings throughout the city? Well, that's because we've been really careful, really just with our placement of industries. We've got all of this oil and stone industry over here in Crystal Point, and the wind blows in this direction, which is east and out of town. And that's why I've been very careful to make sure that we've got industry sitting up, kind of in areas where the air pollution is not going to blow it, say, down into the Yacht Club district or up there on Hickory Heights. And so with all of this industry that's going into this space here, we'll be set up in a good spot where we don't have to worry about air pollution coming in. All right. Well, I just threw a lot at you guys, and so we've got a lot to get going on here today. So with all that as a backdrop, let's do this. Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to put in a road network. And the road network is not going to be very elaborate for this build. In fact, it's going to be really consisting of a main arterial road that comes off of, you can see my mouse way over here on the, kind of the west side, if you will, of this area. It makes its way up and through this area, this little valley coming in here, and then makes its way off the map over there. And then we're going to have a couple little roads that are going to sprout off of that. One certainly is going to be heading up into this area over here where we're going to have a big, mining operation there. There'll probably be a secondary, smaller mining operation in here and a tertiary one back in here. And then we need to have roads that kind of come in down here and connect into this space here. And I've got some ideas for assets that I want to drop in there. But let's hit that road network up first. All right, I'm going to start with our 4-lane road, just a standard 4-lane road. And I want to use a continuous curve here. I'm going to turn off that snapping. I'll put on my contour lines. And let's just start from here and go out and bend this along like so. And then I want to take advantage of this little rise that comes up in here. You see that little notch in the contour lines? We're just going to go straight up there. And then let's just take a look. I'm going to do a little straightaway here. And I want to kind of, respect some of these contour lines. We're going to curve down a little bit, come back a little bit, straight line it a little. And then you can see I've got those contour lines that follow along that ridge. I'm going to do this nice gentle curve. Maybe I'll come up into this ridge line here and then just come straight out here and then bend it off the edge of the map. And the reason I took this off the edge of the map is because you can see we've got this big area, and the only way in and out right now is just this one freeway interchange that sits over in this space here. So I wanted to make sure that there was a little pressure release valve, if you will. All right. So we've got the main arterial road in place. Let's go about the process of placing some additional assets. And the first one I want to put in is a rail asset. It would be our cargo train terminal. Yeah. And I think I want to run that in kind of up in this area here, close to this big main arterial. Let's maybe drop it off maybe there. And then I can come in here and upgrade it, add the second track. Nice. And then a storage warehouse just on the back end. Don't know if that's helpful or not, but it looks pretty cool. And then the idea would be there'd be some sort of a looped approach that comes in, runs through this area, and then makes its way back out to our main road out here. But before we do all that, let's pause the game real quick, and then I want to disconnect these power towers right here. And then I will, I want to do that so that I can build without these being in the way for right now. because I got some ideas for this space down in here. The first thing I need to do, though, is I need to thread these rail lines and get them connected into this main one back here. All right, so let's tackle that next. The way I think I want to do that is I want to come down here first and build my little three-way interchange. You can see here we've got this really large three-way interchange. We're not going to have room for that. And I can't build it too close to the edge of the map because I don't want things to bottleneck up there. I can't get too close to this little interchange, so I'm going to have to pick a spot that's kind of right in the middle, right in here. And it'll be a pretty small interchange. And we're just going to come right out using this simple curve. We'll come out, about 96 meters, sure. And then we can bend that back. Now, this will be really interesting to see how this shapes up. But then we're going to come out here as well, and I'm going to maybe do about the same, 96, and we'll just bring that up there and see what that looks like. Yeah, it's pretty well centered between the edge of the map and this one here. From there, I can take this and I can run this out. I've got a basic curve here, and I can run out so that I'm in the midst of these two, kind of in this area here, bend it out, and then have it come out like so. And then we're just going to take these two-way single lane tracks. We're going to run those right back in. So we'll come in here and go to that one. We'll come in here and go to that one. Yeah, and we've got it connected up. Is it elegant? No, maybe not, but it's functional, which is what a cargo station should be. All right, so the next thing I need to do is I need to come in and build out our road network. Now, it's not going to be a really big road network, as I was mentioning earlier, but it has to be, up to the task, if you will, of handling a fair amount of traffic, industrial type traffic in this space. So the first thing I want to do is I want to create a high capacity roundabout. And I kind of want to model it after some of the ones that we did over here in this space off of this, off of this dumbbell interchange. So let's come back down in here and pick this spot where we had done this little straightaway. That's where we want to put that roundabout in there. So now we've got a pretty good high capacity roundabout that comes in here. This 4-lane road splits off into these two, and then you can see one dives off this way, one continues on into the roundabout there, and it should be able to hold up to a lot of the traffic. I can always come back in here and do some level terrain work here and tidy things up maybe in our detailing time lapse. Don't like the way that worked out in there, but we can hide it with some plantings. But at least that gives us a nice, good, high-capacity roundabout to service this whole south of the arterial kind of area. So let's come in here now, and I want to get this road curving, actually. So I want to take this road and cut this down maybe about there. Let's see what happens. Can I shave that back? Sure can. Now I can reattach to it, say in here somewhere, and have it bend out to the south. Let's come out 56. We'll come down here, 56. And then my attach point there will allow me to have maybe another sort of a roundabout in there, in another secondary intersection. So let's draw a straight line south with this 2-lane road, 105, sure. And then out somewhere here towards the middle of it, we're going to come out 48 meters. We'll come out 48 meters. Something like that, and then we'll use one of these very large roundabouts in that space. And I think that'll be a nice little high capacity internal intersection. Again, it doesn't need to be a monster intersection, but it just needs to have some capacity. And then we can run a loop all the way back to our cargo train terminal that will allow us to get trucks in and out. So let's do that. So I'm going to start by grabbing a 2-lane one-way road here, and I'm just going to run it right along the edge of this rail yard. Just run it right straight along here until you get maybe just to about here. And then I want to switch over, I think, to a 1-lane, one-way road because I want to have a couple ways out of here. And the first one is going to be if I just match up with this, come out, let's say here, and just run straight back. And then the other one, I want to come out here. Oh, I want to select like a complex curve, maybe. Come out, I don't know, maybe 53, have it bend in. Yeah, something like that. I think that'll be kind of cool. Now, if I take this 1-lane, one-way road, put it on continuous curve, come out like so, and then just bend that around, I got 1 lane going that way. And now if I change it to straightaway, I can come in here and do the same thing and just have you connect there. So they have easy access to get out of town, or else they can feed themselves back into the loop going back here to the main roundabout over here. What that'll allow me to do is come from here, say, we're going to go up, we're going to out and back in, and then I can take out this. So I don't know, there's just kind of a little bit of some interest there, I guess. You've got a connected cargo train station now with kind of an interesting loop that comes around there. All right, so now let's turn our attention down here. I want to put in something down in this space here that I think would be kind of cool. I want to put in a big wastewater treatment plant down here. Wastewater treatment plant, yeah. Down in this little corner down in here. Maybe something along there. And then I want to be able to upgrade it. I want to come in here with this advanced filtering system and have that come right off the back. It's kind of a cool space age looking piece, isn't it? And then I want to have this increased processing capacity for the facility. So I want to put that in this area down in here. I'm going to come out where that lines up there, so then I can put a second one there. Now, I'll leave this space empty for right now. I can always come back in and add those additional modules on that, but I want to make sure I had plenty of room to do that. And I'd kind of like have them on both sides. I'm thinking about this big, what is it, a vehicle factory? Yeah, vehicle factory right in here. And I need to put that in a way so that the road is up on the top side. And I'm going to turn off all of this bright white and maybe down into here somewhere. Bang, right in there. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that looked kind of cool. Right up on that little ridge there as you're coming over the freeway, you can see a big vehicle factory in the background there. Yeah, that's pretty nice. And now we got to figure out how to connect all of those. And I think what I want to do over here with the wastewater treatment plant is I want to grab some alley roads here. And we'll just run right along there. And then I'll come up, sure, 16, come across. Just put a nice little box out in front of that. And then over in front of the vehicle factory, let's grab some of these 2-lane roads. We'll just run right along the full length of this building. Yeah, something like that. And then I want to grab a couple parking lots, maybe medium parking lots, large. All right, so let's put this guy in here. And then we're going to come out here and do the same. That way we can take a 2-lane road and run that right straight out of here. Do the same thing on this side. And then just frame those up nicely. Now we can start the game up and get things rolling again here. We got all of the the plumbing taken care of and the electricity and everything's all connected up here. And oh, looks like this just turned yellow, which means a car company moved in here. It's called the Cryersters. Okay, well, Cryersters Auto Factory. There you go. That's opened up, and then I can come in here and just smooth this out a little bit. Now we've got a couple of big industries down in here and, like our big vehicle factory, our wastewater treatment plant, our cargo rail station. Time to turn our focus on all of the mining now. That's going to be the next big part. All right, so to tackle the mining in this area, we're actually going to build 2 separate mines. And one of them is going to be down in this space here. You can see some slight little hills in here. Very subtle, very subtle. And when I turn on my natural resources map, you can see that that's all rich with ore in this space. And so that's going to be the area that's going to be our coal mine. And that should be kind of cool in here. We'll make small little coal mines in there that kind of make their way around through these little hills here. And then I've got another big space that I really want to focus my attention on, and it's this area up in here. You can see this somewhat natural bowl that exists kind of up in this rise that exists here. And this is what I want to carve out. I want to get in there and really just carve that out so that it looks like this mine, which is just outside of Marquette, Michigan in the United States. Something that looks really unnatural and man-made. Yeah, so let's start with that process. I'm going to come in here, first of all, and pick an elevation that's quite a bit below this peak, maybe something along like this. And we're going to carve down into that. It's going to be pretty rugged, pretty rough. And what I'm trying to do is create this unnatural look where you've really gone in there and carved out the land. And I want to try to follow some of the natural contour lines, but I won't be able to do all of them. And then, we'll set that up there. We'll flatten this all out now inside this internal bowl here. And then after we get that all in place, I want to come back in with some gravel roads. I'm going to take gravel roads and turn off my snap to guidelines, and then I'm going to work my way around the inside of that bowl. So here, let's just get a little diagonal line to start things here, and then we'll bring that up. And you can see I'm creating a framework, if you will, up in this space that is going to serve to, give some definition to the actual mine, and you'll be able to see, where this has been mined out already. As we dig further and further into the to the hillside here. Let's just continue this right along over there. Maybe come down into this space. Yeah, something like that. And then what you want to do after that is you want to grab your level terrain tool and you want to pick an elevation that's significantly below that, where it looks like it's a a disruptive element. So you can see we've got about maybe 10 lines here. Maybe I'll grab about 6 of those lines of contour and just drive right down like that. And so what you can see happening there is it's creating this stark contrast between the lower elevation and the upper elevation. So let me go ahead and paint that in quick. And I like the way that's shaping up. And then you come back in here with your gravel roads and you just repeat the process over and over and over again. So you just try and follow that same bunch of terrain lines if you can, or close approximation anyways, just so that it continues to have this little framework inside. And what you're going to get is this really cool effect of creating, different layers, different tiers, if you will, within the bowl. And see how I pushed that one out a little bit farther? Now we can dive in here and carve out quite a bit more, maybe pick this elevation down here. And as you cut in here, it creates a little lower area in the bowl, and you keep working your way around. Yeah, okay. And then we'll just come in again and start carving away. There. All right, that feels like it's about as low as we want to go into that basin. And I think that's going to make for a really cool looking mine in that space. It's a huge iron ore mine. So now how do we finish it off? This is kind of cool. I think what I want to do is I want to grab, there's 2 assets. Well, first of all, I think I want to grab this other building here that I was looking at, the industrial waste processing site. And I think that's kind of going to be a really good look in this space. I think it's going to match up really well to what's going on in here. It has this look of industry in the middle of an iron mine. So, oops, we don't want the snapping to be on in the roads. I think I want to bring that up, maybe up in here somewhere. I got to leave enough space for a road to run down the side of it. Ooh, and now that I look at that, that might be, I don't know, let's just say, ooh, okay, we just unlocked milestone number 19. That's nice. Massive metropolis. And it's getting to be massive. We've got 51 more building squares to use and 25 more points we can spend on our tech tree. Very cool. And then let's take a look at the ore mining building. Now, again, we've got our snaps turned off. I want to get it up here close enough so that it can reach the entire basin down in here. And I think if we put it right there, that'll touch the entire basin like that. Sure. Yeah, see, then I can take my, the surface painter and just run it all the way around through this whole notch. And this part, right, this building right here kind of looks like it's part of that big facility. Like this is a big ore processing facility up in that ridge. And I think that's pretty cool. Let's connect the roads back up. I think I'd like to have it come to right about there. And then I'm going to have it go straight up and into this facility here. And then we'll bring out another road kind of right along the edge of this industrial waste plant. In fact, I'm going to do an alley road there. Let's just do that. We'll run that straight back in. We'll bring that alley and just wrap it right around the edge of the building. One of the other things I want to do, this is going to be kind of neat. We're going to grab a little gravel road. And I'm going to go ahead and frame up just like I've been doing here. Just frame up, but I'm going to stay down on this level here. And then I want to get way back into this corner. There's an asset that I've been looking to use here in this space too. And this is, if you find it in the disaster control area, maybe this little small emergency center, and just plop that right in there because it looks like a little tunnel going into the mine. Yeah, that might be kind of cool in there. And now that we're all hooked up, we can take the ore facility, the ore mine and iron mine. I think it's an ore mine or iron mine. I don't remember which. But we can start painting out our surface here. Yeah, there we go. Now we've got that all laid out. And in fact, I could probably even come back in here and drop a second one in down in here. What do you think of that? And so now you've got a pretty good size iron ore, mining project going on in here. I like that tower. That's kind of cool. And then this little underground digging in here. You can see he's digging in underneath this hill as well. And then you got another little tunnel sitting in there. So yeah, that's shaping up nicely. Let's go ahead and turn our attention over to these coal mines. And the coal mines, you can see these little bumps here. It's just some peak elevations here. Let me grab our terrain here, and you can see there's a top here, there's a top here, there's another little peak here. And then if I turn on my natural resources, you can see that this ore runs all the way down around in here. And then it also comes pretty far out here. In fact, almost to the power lines. You've got our little keep out signs here, right? Laurel and Foggy Lane. So I think what we can do is we can develop 2 little coal mines in this area over here. One smaller one kind of back down here along the power lines. And then on the other side, we can do a pretty good size one up in here. So let's start with the back one over here. I'm going to delete those two little placeholder lines, and then now we know where we're going to go for our coal mines. And I want to make sure that I respect those little ridge lines up there as well. So let's see. Let's grab a 50 brush size, and we'll come in here and we'll start flattening out. And when we flatten out, we're going to be running right up close to those power lines. I'm going to push this all the way up to, say, here, and then just kind of make our way along those ridge lines there. And so you can kind of see the outer footprint, if you will, of this, our first of two coal mines. And then before I start laying out the layers, if you will, the tiers, I'm going to have to come in here and figure out how to get there. And I want to make sure that I'm preserving those peaks that are up there. So I'd like to come in here and define the space over here as well. Now, I think we can best do that by just grabbing an elevation that's down low here and just kind of gently carving back this area in here. Now what we need to do is we need to connect these two mining areas. And I think the best way to do that is I'm just going to try and drive a little tunnel, right? Not a tunnel, but well, I could do a tunnel, but let's just drive a little road right down through this area here. I'm going to set my brush size to about 40. And let's see, where's going to be the most forgiving? I think it's going to be like right down along through there. Maybe set this brush size to 30. Grab that as a lower elevation. Pretty good elevation change, but I think it's going to give us access to that lower level. All right, so with that in place, we're going to want to bring a road down here, a gravel road. I think I'm going to stick with gravel roads mostly in this space. And then, let's see here. We have to think about where we want the actual mining facility to sit, and maybe it's going to be in this notch here, and we'll paint the terrain out this way. So, that being said, let's start developing our layers. Yeah, there. I think that's probably pretty good. Just put 2 layers in on this one because it's going to be, it's not going to be as big a mine as some of the other ones, but let's just kind of slope this in now. So if I grab this terrain down here, bring this road down and around, then I think I can bring in my, let's bring this gravel road down first. Let's just see what we can do. Just want to make sure that this is going to make its way down here in a way that makes sense. And then I'll just come straight off of this one and just run it straight out like so. And I think this will be actually just fine in here because then I can grab my coal mine and let's turn on our snaps. Yeah, and now let's paint in the surface. Okay, I like the way that just kind of sits down in that space there. It looks pretty good. And then now we can do the bigger one up here. This one's going to be a little bit larger, maybe just a couple levels though, still not super huge. I want to take this road though, and let's figure out how to get that connected in here before we start painting everything in. Now we can carve out the bowl in here. Let's do that. Yeah, see now we've got that bowl carved out there. Yeah, I like this little fence that came in here as well. And this is where I'm going to put my coal mine. I'm going to drop that coal mine in right down in this space here. And I'll just start painting out around this thing. Yeah, there we go. So now we've got a little coal mine sitting up there. Oh, wow. That's a pretty big building that popped in there. Okay, cool. So our coal mining industry is laid out, but all in all, I like the way that this is going. All right, so with our coal mines in place, I just want to turn my attention to this space down in here. See this little notch that runs along between this road and this rail line? I'd like to put a little bit of industry in there. Nothing too heavy or nothing too crazy, but just a little something just to break it up. And, you've got this industrial look and feel going on all around here. So let's just throw some, I don't know, maybe some industry, some offices down along this rail line. We're going to put in maybe a little 2x4 in there. Yeah. And then I'll come in with an office, do the same. We're just going to kind of alternate some different size buildings in here. Does that work? Yeah, it does. Well, 2x2s, that's fine. So some offices there. I want to put a big office kind of right in this corner here. Yeah, I like that one. drop in maybe another larger building right in here. Let's see if we can get some warehouses in here. What are those, a 2x5? Let's try doing that a few times down along here. Just see what we get. All right, now with all of that in place and starting to grow in and take shape, I think this feels like a really great place for a time lapse. I think we'll come through here and do a lot of the things that we really need to do. We'll probably complete out this wastewater treatment plant, come in and make some maybe decorative areas around this vehicle factory, add some more trees and growth and so forth along this ridge line here, and maybe up on this ridge line as well here. I have to set up my cargo train terminal lines to get goods in and out of the city. And, just a couple other little tidy up things here, maybe with this office plaza down in there. So, all right, why don't you guys sit back, relax, enjoy the time lapse, and let's reconnect here afterwards and recap our sculpture. Welcome back, and I give it Blacksmith's Rise. I just love the way that this one turned out, and it was a bit of a challenge. We had some technical difficulties over the course of the week, but we got past it, and I'm really happy with the way that this one turned out. There's a lot to unpack here, so let's just jump right on in and take you through it. We've got our big cargo train terminal that sits here on the edge of town, and I expanded this to add a second cargo rail line down here along the bottom edge, and then also a warehouse over here on the right edge. And then I also left plenty of room for future expansion in case we need to increase our warehouse capacity in the future. I also created this slip lane technique here that allows trucks to come in and
pick up or drop off their payloads, and then sneak out of town on this little slip lane back out to the road heading out of town, or they can loop right back and head on back into the development. I also included a little factory building down in here and then an office building just to complete the look for our cargo terminal. Moving right along to our wastewater treatment plant, we needed this for future growth and development in Pengasas Bay. We were starting to run up against some of our limitations for sewage treatment, and this should more than fit the bill for taking care of that. Added lots of expansion pieces along here, all around the edge. Kind of created a space age looking futuristic design to it, and added some beautiful trees and plantings out front just to complete the look. And then we've got this big vehicle factory that sits on this rise, if you will, right up above this rail line down below. And then also you can see it as you're coming in off of the islands on the freeway. It sits as a large imposing structure right on this ridge and lets you know that there's some heavy industry going on in this area. Then I want to take you over to our little dual coal pits down in here. And I really like the way that these turned out because I tried to really respect these little ridge lines that were sitting up along here. And I sunk in a couple coal pits, one here on this side and then one down here on the other, connected by this little gravel road that snakes its way down through this little ravine here. And then I added some offices and warehouses in here too, just, kind of give the element of maybe this is the office building for this coal mining company here and some storage warehouses and so forth. That turned out really nice in there. And then making our way down along close to the freeway here. And right on the other side of the rail line, we've got a bunch of factory buildings in here. Because again, I wanted to make sure that from the freeway you could tell that this is an industrial part of town and maybe there's a big corporation that's back in here. And then one of our unlocked special buildings here, a unique building, if you will, is our fuel plant that we put in here. And that fuel plant gives us lots of bonuses against pollution throughout the city. So that was a nice welcome addition in this area. And it really kind of is a statement piece right off the freeway. Now, while I was at it, I tucked in yet another ore pit down in here. Just figured we had the space to do it, and it really did look like it needed to be back in here because we had plenty of natural resources, and it would have been a shame to not use all of those resources. And then as we make our way along here towards our larger iron ore pit, I created this illusion of a conveyor belt system that runs down here, maybe bringing some of the rocks and minerals and ore down from this upper ledge down via conveyor down to these sand lots down here and to be processed at this little factory here. And then, of course, our top 5 design element, our massive iron ore pit. We carved that out and it turned out really, really well. It's truly a man-made looking structure back in here. It's juxtaposed against all that natural beauty that sits on the ridge up behind it. I came back in and planted some trees down some of these little valleys and so forth on this hill just to give it a more natural look. But this is an imposing structure. We used our industrial waste processing building here coupled up with our iron ore mining facility to create this big, maybe it's a factory headquarters kind of a look back here in this ore pit. And then, of course, we've got a little tunnel that comes in here naturally with the iron ore mining facility. And then I tucked in this little tunnel in here just to put something in there. I thought that looked kind of neat. But that's our big, huge complex in here. And then I added a little factory and an office building in here as well. Just maybe there's our maintenance facilities along with that. All right. Well, that's our build for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. This was a lot of fun. And again, we faced some challenges, but we overcame them. And I really love the way it turned out. All right. So you're going to want to sit tight and you're not going to want to miss our cinematics at the end because those are always a lot of fun. Now, just as a reminder, we are a small but growing channel. And if you saw something that you liked today, make sure to leave us a comment down below and make sure you tell everyone that you saw it on City Sculptor's channel. Also, while you're at it, be sure to chip away at that like button and hammer that subscribe button to stay up to date on all the happenings here in Pengasas Bay and our Gran Vanillica series as well. With that, I'm going to bid you guys a fond farewell. And until next time, good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.